through the first 5 weeks, college football has been very, very eventful so far. Being though the top 4 teams have been shifting around a lot. And this is my opinion. My top 3 is Ohio State, Alabama, and Michigan. So what is yours?
Man, I feel like what you just did was just how this week has started, you know, all rainy and just nasty and stuff like that. And I feel like that's what your take is, man. Like, how do you not have Georgia in the top 3? They are the number one, for me, they're the number 1 team in the country, hands down. And you gonna have them not in the top 3? They was just number 1 after the weekend. How do you explain that?
Look, so Georgia, they were the number 1 team for a reason. Nearly lost to Missouri. Missouri is not a good team at all. What do they have? 3 losses so far out of the first 5 games. So how can you put them at number 1 over Ohio State, who has 0 losses, and Alabama, who almost lost to Texas, but is also showing that they can do what they can do?
See, me personally, I can tell that you're one of those guys who just like to see the score get run up in football. Me personally, I like to see tough defense. And that's what Georgia has. Georgia has a historically great defense. They're holding teams regularly to 3, 7 points. Every game. Their first game, they held the team to 7 points. The next game, they held the team to 0 points. The next game, they held them to 3 points. They were the kind of team to stuff you and just hold you down, make sure you can't even come up and breathe for air. That's exactly the kind of team that I want to see. And that's why I believe they're still number 1. I think last week was really a fluke. Just Missouri got a couple of touchdowns in it, you know.
But hold on, a fluke?
Yeah.
A fluke when you have a QB who's probably the nation's, like, one of the worst QBs, to be honest with you. How can that be a fluke? One, they have to put up points on the board from the beat. Either one of these top 3 teams that I named. And the defense, yeah, you can rely on defense, but who's going to score? The defense? Not when the 2 teams that you're playing against barely throw picks. So how are you going to put up points?
See, man, you didn't even have Georgia above Michigan. And Michigan, who did they play? They don't play nobody. Michigan,
Hold on.
who's the best team they beat?
Hold on.
Maryland?
Maryland, yes. Maryland was what? Like 3-1 going to the game?
We are talking about Georgia, who trashed Oregon 49-3. Do you understand what 49 to?
It's Oregon.
You understand what 49-3 is?
I do.
It means you got 1 field goal and you barely got past 50 yards for the rest of the game.
But they put against who again? Oregon. Yeah, you're gonna say Oregon is top 15. Okay, so what? Oregon isn't good this year. You gotta be honest. Be honest with me. Oregon isn't good this year.
Is Oregon better than Maryland? I think so.
I don't think so.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. And when I really think about it, Ohio State, for me, hasn't proven that they have beaten the high caliber teams that Georgia has beaten, i.e. Oregon. And they're only an explosive offense to me. And to me, Alabama are not yet deserving of that number 1 spot. So I do agree with you with them at number 2. But there's no way I can have Ohio State over Alabama.
Ohio State beat Notre Dame behind a powerful QB in the name of C.J. Stroud, who was, to me, he's like the nation's best player. He might even be one of the greatest QBs of all time in college football history, if you ask me. So I will pick him at Heisman this season, actually, to be exact.
I know you can see a shock on my face because you're going to say he's one of the greatest college football quarterbacks of all time.
Yes.
With Bryce Young sitting right there at Alabama, the reigning and defending Heisman winner. His coach is Nick Saban, possibly the greatest coach of all time when it comes to college football. He is the premier passer in his class. Like, come on now. He's thrown a couple picks, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand he has been a little bit underwhelming. He's only thrown 3. He's only thrown 3 in the first 5 games.
Threw 2.
That's not really that big of a difference to me.
Yes, it is.
That's really not that big of a difference to me. I think Bryce Young has the highest ceiling of any quarterback in this class, and I think that C.J. Stroud would do good to even be in the same conversation as him.
Do good?
Yeah, do good.
And C.J. Stroud is probably the nation's best QB. He's the nation's best college football player as of right now. And he's continuing to build on that. Game after game after game after game, proving y'all why he's going to win Heisman this year.
See, what I want to point out is who's calling the plays for them? Nick Saban is calling the plays for Bryce Young. Bryce Young is going to be coached by one of the greatest coaches ever to even pick up a playbook. That man is going to make sure that he is ready for anything that comes towards him.
Yeah, so I hear you on that one, but Ryan Day, he's gonna be a bad coach. He's gonna be a bad coach. You'll see. You will see. He will be a bad coach.
Did you just say Ryan Day in the same conversation as Nick Saban, can I get a camera, please? My brother is not in the right state of mind right now. I'ma just leave it at that because that don't make sense.
This is us for college football, wrapping it up, and we'll be back to you next week.